If you're in the tech world, or even just thinking about jumping in, you can probably feel it, right? There's this massive shift happening, and the ground beneath the entire industry is shaking. All the old career paths, they're starting to look a little shaky. A new AI-first world is taking over. So the big question is, are you ready for what's coming? Let's dive in and see what's really going on.
For decades, the tech services game was pretty simple. It was all about billable hours. Companies would hire huge armies of people and just sell their time. Well, that whole model is collapsing. AI-centric strategies are taking its place, and as you can see right here, the entire economic rulebook for the industry is being torn up and rewritten on the fly.
And listen, this isn't some abstract thing happening in a boardroom somewhere. This is real. These are voices from people on the ground, right now. Just look at this stuff. A company with 200 people fires almost everybody because AI can do the job. People talking about their friends' companies laying off half their staff. Even a behemoth like Google is telling its own employees, hey, get on board with AI or you can leave. The message is, well, it's brutally clear. Adapt or you're gonna get left behind.
So, what is actually causing this massive earthquake? We're calling it the Great IT Reset. Let's really get into the nuts and bolts of the economics that are driving this whole thing.
Okay, what's so powerful about this visual is how clearly it shows the fundamental shift. On the left, you've got the old way. Money flows into paying salaries for people to do the work. But look at the right. That's the new model. The money is now flowing into compute power. We're talking GPUs, chips, API tokens. The entire industry is literally shifting from renting human time to buying raw machine intelligence.
And here's where it gets kind of crazy. A regular IT project that would have cost you, say, $20,000, now an AI agent can do what it took 10 people to do for just a tiny fraction of that cost. I mean, when one way of doing things is that much cheaper and faster, it's not a question of if things will change, it's a question of how fast.
So as you can imagine, this reset is creating a huge divide. It's splitting the industry, the companies, the job market, everything into two completely different worlds. We're seeing clear winners and, well, clear losers emerging from this shift.
Just take a look at these salary numbers. An entry-level system engineer role at a company like Infosys might land you around 3 or 4 lakhs a year. Okay, but a specialized programmer with AI and ML skills at the very same company can start at up to 21 lakhs. That's not a pay gap. That's a completely different universe right from day one.
And we're seeing the exact same story play out in the stock market. On the left, you have a classic, big IT services company like Wipro. Over 5 years, basically flat, no growth. Then you look at the right, an AI-first company like NVIDIA. It's just explosive. We're talking over 1,000% growth. The market is screaming where it's putting its money, and it's all in on AI.
Now this right here is the stat that really makes your jaw drop. Think about this for a second. The AI company Anthropic has just over 2,000 employees, and it's valued higher than 7 of the biggest legacy IT firms who together employ 1.6 million people. It's just proof that the new game isn't about how many people you have, it's about how powerful your tech is.
Okay, so the world has changed. The rules are different. So how in the world do you navigate it? The secret is to understand the new skill hierarchy, the one that defines who wins in this new market. Let's see what that looks like.
It really breaks down into 3 layers. So at the bottom, you have your fundamental abilities. Basic aptitude, communication, super important. You got to have them. Then in the middle, you have technical expertise. Your core programming, data structures, algorithms, SQL, good stuff. But the real money, the real value is all the way at the top. Fully advanced skills.
This is it. This is the top of the pyramid. This is where you're designing huge, complex systems. You're building intelligent AI models. You're leading strategy. These are the skills that separate a regular coder from an elite, high-impact player in this new economy.
So how do you make that leap? How do you go from being just another fresher to one of those elite earners we were just looking at? Well, the path is all about being super intentional about building out those advanced skills.
This quote right here, it just nails it. The industry doesn't need to hire for capacity anymore. Just getting more bodies to throw at a problem. Now they're hiring for capability. What can you actually do? What can you build? What really tough problems can you solve with these advanced, specialized skills?
And here's the proof right in front of you. Infosys isn't just throwing that 21 LPA package out there for anyone. They are laser-focused on finding people with deep AI expertise. They are putting their money exactly where the new value is, and that value is in advanced, AI-centered skills. Period.
Okay, so this brings us to the big question. What's the solution? What does a real structured plan for an AI-proof career actually look like? Let's take a look at the curriculum from PragyanAI as a concrete example of how you would actually go about building these skills.
Just to give you a sense of how forward-thinking this is, look at a concept they teach called agentic AI. Now, this isn't just about feeding data to an AI model. No. This is the next frontier. This is about building autonomous AI agents that can see, think, learn, and act on their own to get things done. This is the absolute cutting edge of where the industry is going.
And you can't learn this stuff from a textbook. The only way to really get it is to do it. With over 100 real-world projects and industry case studies, this is how you go from just knowing the concepts to actually being able to build things and prove you've got the skills.
And what's great is that this kind of deep training doesn't just lead to one outcome. It opens up clear, specialized paths. You actually get to choose your own adventure based on what you want to do, whether that's building products, doing deep research, or even starting your own company. So path number 1 is the job track. This is all about becoming a day-one job-ready engineer. The outcome is simple, but it's so powerful. You graduate ready to start contributing right away, completely skipping those first 6 months of boring corporate training that most freshers have to slog through. Path 2, the research track. This is for you if you're the kind of person who wants to actually invent the future. The goal here isn't just to learn theory, it's to become a real research contributor, someone who can publish papers, file patents, and maybe even go on to do a PhD in deep tech.
And finally, there's the startup track. This one's for the builders, the innovators, the entrepreneurs. You get mentorship, help with your pitches, and maybe even seed funding to graduate not just as an engineer, but as a startup founder, ready to go build the next big thing. Which really brings us to this final idea. All the old ways we used to measure success, they're fading away. It's not about your degree anymore, or how many years you sat in a classroom. The single most important question for your career, starting right now, is the one on the screen. What can you build today?